Hello, my beautiful Pisces. Oh, there's so much magic afoot in this reading. It's unbearable. The cards did the reading all by themselves this week. And you know what? This hang time that you're getting, it's presenting you with some opportunities. Both sets, both Ace of Pentacle, both the seed came in to show you the magic. But you'll have to come in and see what I'm talking about. Hello, my beautiful Pisces, and welcome back to your reading for Tuesday. Now, I had already mentioned that this was going to be the reading. It is the Bridge of Earth and Soul. And we're going to start with questions. And I brought out 2 decks. I wasn't going to do the Sigil Witchery, but I did. I decided to. And also the archetypes. So we're going to do that. We're going to look at all of these. Now, if you haven't seen Sunday's reading, I suggest that you go see it first, because this is a follow-up reading. And of course, Wednesdays, I try to come on and do a live with all of this in play. So I keep notes for this week, and then when we come back on Wednesday, because I do these ahead of time, we talk about this. Now, the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that this card came out first, and it already come out on Sunday. And it came into the position of your hopes and fears. And I probably didn't broach it enough. I think that's why it came back out. Because it's, what does your grounded self know? In the grounded self was the sun. And the way the cards were positioned on Sunday, the hangman was right underneath it. And I feel that this is saying that at this point, you're leading from an emotional space, not a mind space. And it's a little chaotic. It's a little night of drama. This is a Pisces card. They want you to remember who you are, right? Just even in this card, look at it. She's kind of like, I'm up here, I am, doing a million things at once, and I can stand on my head and still make it look easy. Okay? This is that kind of energy, and that's what I feel. I feel that when we are asked to take a moment and pivot, it's because we're being asked to either surrender or let go of something or get a new perspective right away, right? We're breaking patterns. We're in limbo, but we're breaking patterns while we're in limbo. And that's the most important part. All right. So I'm going to take a sigil first. The key. And if you notice, it looks a little bit like, it does look a little bit like the hangman, isn't it? I don't know, I'm getting that vibe from it, like the legs hanging, the head. Doesn't it make you feel that way? That's what I feel like. You have the key. That's the key. So they're telling you the key is the hangman. Absolutely. The key is absolutely the hangman. The hangman's telling you, take a beat, take a moment to figure it out, right? So I'm going to take from the archetype and see what else comes in here. All right. The patron. Mentorship, finances. Again, you have something that's... I'm looking and I can see the book. You need a moment to read, right? You can't just go on in life. You can't, well, it's not suggested to walk around and read at the same time. That could be very dangerous. But in this case, maybe it is time. I'm hearing like maybe it's time to get more knowledge, okay? More knowledge. I think that's what they're saying, like more knowledge, get more knowledge. Yeah. This may be the time for that. Maybe that's why there's like a mentorship, like finances, or maybe it's time to just work on gathering finances too, okay? When I left my job 11 years ago, I did that. I saved up 5 or 6 months worth of money, and then I left. Because I needed to do a change. But before I did the change, before it was like, I saved up a little bit and put my finances aside and thought, okay, I'm going to be good. I'm going to do this. And I did. in the middle of the pandemic. I was crazy. I don't know why I took another one. I don't know why I took another one, but it's done now. The triangle. Again, I think it came in. Again, it's on its head. It doesn't really matter. The triangle in this case, there's triangles like this way, that way. The triangle in this case is always for me is the sign of me and my spirit guides. But in this case, I'm going to take the book. I'm going to take the book because there's a book that comes with this. Let's take a look at the triangle, okay? Because, yeah, there it is. I just saw it. It just came in. It's a closed chevron, a contained shape with 3 interior angles, 3 sides that can be equal or uneven. Pinnacle, wisdom, guidance. So again, there's wisdom and guidance coming in with this. A triangle can provide a strong foundation for growth. Okay, so this is foundation, the Empress card in the Tarot. They are connected to the number 3, which is symbolic of choices, creativity, sovereignty, and growth, all found in the Empress card of the Tarot. Oh, nice. So again, it's time for creativity. This is giving you all this. The key is the Hangman. It's the hang time to gain wisdom and to bring in growth. Like all of this. Okay, so what does your grounded self want you to know is that this is a time for that. All of this. Hi, Pisces. Okay. I'm just popping in to let you know that I offer personal readings right now. There's 2 different kinds and 2 different lengths, and also memberships where I offer a live one-on-one session in the middle of the month with you and me. So great. If you want to know more, everything is in the description box below. Now let's get back to your reading. Okay. That's a practical insight that's coming in. Okay, so what does your spirit self want you to know? What is it whispering? So this is the Fool card. This is the other deck. This one, I usually need the book because, oh my good God. Yeah, this one's a little different in the way that it comes out. It's amazing, but it's almost feels like an oracle rather than a tarot. The 7 of Fire. Look at this. And if you remember, we had wands, all the top and one at the bottom. We had like the 2 of Wands, the Sun card, the 3 of Wands, the 10 of Wands, the Knight of Wands. There was wands. It was wanding all over the place. And now you have the 7 of Fire. Let's see. I feel there's definitely a thing with that, right? So let's see if I can see anything here. Water. That's all this. Okay. The Ace of Fire, the 2 of Fire. Let's see. 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7 of Fire. Here we go, you guys. So this is, again, this is your, what does my spirit self whispering? Okay. So, okay, Uranus is a crazy genius of the skies. While he brings shocks and surprise, they are usually in the long run exciting and beneficial. When he decides to make his presence known, it's usually by way of sudden big changes. Something brought on radical, impulsive behavior. Yes, of course, right? The Knight that came in, the Knight of Cups, that's what you're feeling. With the Queen of Cups, all emotional, like a little erratic, like all emotional all the time, right? You're like pouring your heart. You may be going through extremes. So, impulsive behavior are just as likely brought on by no apparent cause. The events heralded by him serve to break us out of ruts and inspire our inner genius. This thing's reading itself. I don't need to do the readings. The cards are going, hold my drink, I'll do this. Okay? So just listen up. They're telling you right here. Okay? Rules are broken willy-nilly and originality and insight ensue. In other words, by not doing what you're supposed to, suddenly you're doing what you're meant to. It's getting clearer and clearer, isn't it? Right? Freed from bonds of stagnation, boundaries, and ennui, which is boredom. Independence, innovation, and idealism are the new normal. The Seven of Fire promises exciting times. We should be ready to expect the unexpected from life and from ourselves. And in this case, do not expect the surrounding cards to provide much detail about the particulars. That's the point of this experience, not knowing what's coming. The shadow side of this card shows extremely impulsive behavior, radical ideas, and desire for rebellion that will lead to regret. So, yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, absolutely. Okay? So this right here is kind of telling you what's going on. So your soul side is going, this is absolutely the reason why. There's sometimes things happen like this, and it's because you need to just bite down and do the thing. Right? Bite down and do the thing. Let's see. So number 3, what's the rift between the two, between earth and soul? So we're gonna the dissonance between these two. Okay, we're gonna pick one of these and then one of the spirit. Whoa, okay. The devil. Let's pull them both out and see. Okay, that's so funny. What's the dissonance? Of course, it's the devil. The path. Ooh, ooh. 9. Look at this. Okay. This is the Okay. So this is interesting because these are not in order. They're not in order. They make it very difficult. This book makes it very difficult to look at anything, right? Very, very difficult. Yeah. They have the Hangman here. That's nice. The Chariot. Strength, no. Justice. Ah, the Hermit, the Path. Here we go. Okay. So what's the dissonance between the two? First of all, it is the devil. The devil is all about doing the wrong thing. And they did broach that, right? It's not necessarily about doing the wrong thing, and it's not necessarily about the devil being the bad thing. It's about restrictions. It's about addictions. It's about doing things that feel good but aren't good for you. This is the stuff here, but with this reading, and especially because it's an emotional high this week, it's probably just riding that wave of emotional dissonance, picking a fight, having an argument, being a bitch, because I like doing that once in a while. I'm talking about myself, okay? Or being a dick, depending who you are. You can be those people, and it doesn't really serve a purpose except that you are riding an emotional high, okay? When in fact, what you're reacting to is maybe the situation is not going the way you want, and you're just like venting, instead of being the hermit, where you actually need to take some time away, time out, and to really find what it means, what it's all about. What's the perspective you're trying to look at? Okay, so let's see what it has to say here. Every witch, every pagan, every person for that matter lives their own life and walks their own path, while there are moments and beliefs that we can share, times when we can help and support each other. When it comes right down to it, our journey is our own. Amen. We decide what to do, what to think, what to feel, and what to believe. We determine our values and set our priorities, no matter how entwined our lives are with others. At the end of the day, at the day of the day, alone in the woods, we take our own journey. We walk our own path. Fortunately, when we are alone, focused on our own heart and our own connection with the divine, that is when we can best hear the divine's voice and see its guidance. Also, right underneath, I put it right underneath the triangle. No surprise there. The triangle for me, I said, is my spirit guide. So that could also be that too, right? And see its guidance. Our path becomes visible, and wisdom becomes our companion. This is about making your own decisions, seeking guidance from the divine, away from the influence of others, trusting your inner self. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, you guys. This is a beautiful card. This is one of the reasons that I got. Look at that, the path. Just walking. That's mesmerizing. I love that. Ugh. Ugh. Sick. I love that. I'm not sick. I just love that. It's sick how I love that. All right, moving on. Moving on, Jane. All right, let's pick one. Yeah, cross. There you go. Cross, and right away when I saw it, I heard you're at a crossroads. You're at a cross in the road. Whatever that means. You have a cross to bear. It all applies here. This all applies together. This is the dissonance. Either reacting from the restriction while your spirit self is going, take a moment, take a tick, take a moment, figure out what you need. Go hermit. Go hermit mode. Okay? Absolutely. You also had the card of broken open on Sunday. It was a mirror shattering. It's beautiful. It's the same thing. It's like you're being shattered right now so that you can look at the pieces. Don't touch them. They can cut. But also to see where the light can come in from where the pieces broke, okay? Sometimes it's planned. Sometimes it's supposed to be that way. Okay. 4, what's the integration point, Earth and Soul? What's the integration? How do we integrate them? Let's take the Earth card first. Is that the Ace of Pentacles? Yeah. The Ace of Pentacles. I'm loving this one. They have little gnomes. Or those like dwarfs. Sorry. It's from the 7 dwarfs, you know, when that was okay. Little people. I don't know what they call them anymore. We'll just stick with gnomes. Keep it PC the whole way across. There is something here that she's picking up. A stone, but it's a pentacle. It's something of abundance, okay? So the integration point is to pick up the stone or the pentacle or the seed that's being handed off to you at this moment, in this moment in time, what you're being offered in this reading, what you're being told to do. Take a moment. Figure out why you are feeling like you want to scream at the wind, right? There's something to be seen. There's something inside you that's wanting to break free or break out or change or do something, right? And it is 1, the elements. Okay. And it's in reverse. Now I know what the elements are. The elements is the magician. So it should be right at the beginning, right? I sure hope so. Oh no, it's not at the beginning. Why? The major arcana. It starts with... Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, okay. So, although this card's image looks very simple, there's much to be said about the elements. A solid understanding of elements is an important part of worldview. We'll go into more detail of nature of the 4 elements of the minor arcana. Magic is the intentional use of personal will to partner with nature to create change in the world for the greatest good of all. When we speak of nature in this context, we mean all that exists. Everything that exists is made up of energy. Understanding how each person and thing reflects and responds to energy, the characteristics of energy in general, and the laws of governing energetic behavior is the foundation of effective magical practice. All energy comes from the divine, and it's part of and connected to the divine. Energy has characteristics based on its elemental makeup and on the individual person or thing's expression of its energy. There are also ideas about how energy behaves. Many people use the 7 Hermetic principles as a guide to understanding this behavior. These principles influence many magical rituals and spell work. The principle of mentalism, for example, is reflected in the emphasis placed on the clear intent and conscious effort. The principles of correspondence and vibration influence why we use certain tools and ingredients in various spells. The principle of rhythm is acknowledged when we pay attention to the timing of our magic. There may be some confusion about so-called positive or negative energy because all things are part of the divine. It isn't useful or accurate to think of energy in terms of good and bad. Instead, there is energy that isn't appropriate for a situation that is no longer serving your highest good. Okay? So, and it's divided between fire, water, air, and earth. These are not literal elements, but archetypal, and each has its own characteristics. And although they're not actual fire, water, air, or earth, we understand much about these characteristics if we think of what they are named after. For example, fire, which is associated with human will, fuel, passion, power, transformation. It warms, protects, activates, and burns. Water, which is associated with human emotions, facilitates healing, dreams, and secrets. It cleans, soothes, provides flexibility, and erodes. Air, which is associated with human intellect, governs logic, truth, and communication. It liberates, provides a cooling breeze, or creates a tempest. Earth, which is associated with the physical body, reigns over manifestation, fertility, and stability. It is heavy, comforting, nurturing, and slow. So as you seek to understand the nature of the elements, they usually establish relationships with elementals, creatures that are rather like nature spirits. They embody and watch over elements. Each element has its own elemental. Salamanders for fire, sylphs for air, undines for water, and gnomes for earth. Oh, I guess they were gnomes. Okay, so this card shows both elements themselves as well as human hands. In this traditional tarot decks, the ace of each suit are often depicted with hand holding the suit designator, representing a gift filled with great potential from the universe. It's right here. What's the gift? What's the gift that's been given? Right? It is the earth, which is associated with physical body, reigns over manifestation, fertility, and stability. It's heavy, comforting, nurturing, and slow. We also had a lot of fire in the reading, right? And okay. So it shows also the hands, like I said, holding the suit designator, representing a gift filled with great potential from the universe. Here the hands represent that, but also something more. The ability to work with and direct those energies for conscious co-creation with the universe. This is a very traditional meaning for one, the magician. It is also the definition of magic. The ability to work with elemental energies to consciously co-create with the universe. Okay? So this is focus will, to work with the elements. And of course, it was a nice card to explain the magician, really and truly. I mean, in depth, actually. It's really nice. The thing about this is this week with how you're feeling, and especially because it's in reverse, just like the hangman, these feel like they are on hold. You have them, and I do believe that last week you had them again. The thing is that you are not quite using them right now. You're at a crossroads. You are picking one up, okay? The integration is when you turn this around and pick up the pentacle from the ground. That's when it's going to happen, right? So, all right. So number 5, the path. Oh, I wanted to pick one more here. Oh, my God. No, I can't make this up, you guys. Come on. Come on, come on. The diviner. Divine timing. Right there. Okay? Yeah, I can't. You are planting something, you guys. Regardless of whether or not you realize it, you are planting something. Something is coming up. Okay? So here we go. The path, the choice or action that helps you move forward. Let's take a look. We'll pick a grounded one. We'll pick a soul one, a grounded one, an earth one. we'll pick a ground and a sky one. Whoa, okay, that card just flew out. Okay. So you have the Strength card, and the way it flew, it's in reverse. So it's just you tapping into your inner power. Okay? The choice to move forward, to do it. This person is going, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get strong. Okay? Even when you're tired, which we'll just use the age as somebody who's maybe, you know, who does it regardless of their age. They have the will. They grab onto that inner power. It may be depicting that you're tired. You're just tired, right? Lita. 19. It's the sun. It's the sun. And guess what? The sun came out in the reading on Sunday. Okay? It did. It came out. So we're back to this again. We're back to this again. Okay, let's see if I can find Lita. There we go. Lita as well as the sun cards are both relatively simple. In both there is a sense that everything is pleasant and sweet. The sun is warm, the fruit is sweet, no one is in a rush. Everyday moments are dripping with pleasure. There is a feeling of success, accomplishment, without stress or strife. Even a strong man in his prime, full of potential and plans, finds the time to pet a bunny. Well, damn, there is a bunny. Because after this holiday the sun begins to shorten. There is the tiniest hint of melancholy as the god will face a certain death and the goddess will withdraw to the underworld. So it's a time of pleasant success, enjoyment of everyday life, happily reaping the first fruits of your effort. Okay, so what's the path? The path in this card, they're saying that they're taking the time to enjoy life. And I think that is the biggest one. First of all, find the will to take the move forward and plant that seed, whatever that might be in your life, whatever it means, okay? The second step is to enjoy life. The third card of this was the sun, what grounds you, which is amazing, okay? The hangman and the ground, which were both in the first reading, are still in this reading, are telling you the same thing. Let the sun shine in. Let the clarity through. Take the time to let the message come in, because that's what came in the first reading. Give it time for the message to come in, for the light to shine long enough on you, for you to pause long enough to get what's trying to bring in, what's trying to manifest in your life. There's something here trying to manifest itself in the way that it's coming in, and you need to stop to see it. Even if it's annoying, even if you're getting mad at it, because obviously you are, and you're getting mad at something. Something is you know, really getting on your nerves. Hexagram. Isn't that what's in a pentagram, in a pentacle? I don't know. Let's see. Isn't that what's in a pentacle? Is that like another seed? Is that like another sign? Okay, here we go. Six-pointed hexagram is known as the Star of David in the Jewish faith, though it doesn't show up as a common motif in other cultures. There are other variations, but the hexagram is drawn in one continuous line. Yeah, I used to do it. Stars, you know, in school. Yeah. The hexagram. Okay, so whereas the pentagram has a head that directs it, the hexagram points equally in all directions. Oh, nice. It is a perfect union as above and below. Oh. Like, I'm not even kidding. This is this deck right here, okay, of these. The deck that I was using is this one. Yeah. Magic. You know, and I'm not even kidding. It says it is above, below. Right there. Okay? You saw it. or left and right, depending on how you draw it. The structure of the hexagram has all gender non-binary feeling to it. The intersecting triangles can represent the intertwining masculine and feminine concepts, as well as the earth and sky interlocking in perfect harmony. So the keywords are balance, equality, harmony, and connection. Connect. You are more than the sum of your parts. Don't define yourself simply by what you can offer others or what your job title is. You are made of star stuff. Okay, so hidden shapes within symbols can uncover new meanings. That's interesting, right at the end of this. Hidden shapes. The fact that you are stopped and looking at things, you may find something that's hidden that gives new meanings. We talked about that last week, didn't we? There was something that you needed to stop and look at last week to find a meaning in it because it was going to help you further on. This may be for some of you who are still in that zone of trying to figure that out. Little message at the end of that. Okay, so what are we doing? We're doing a life path. We're going to look at what life path number comes in, because when we do the readings on Thursday for life path, the number that comes in usually identifies, there's certain different things that are associated to that life path number, and that's the strength and the weaknesses of that number that will come in and will help you along your way. Okay, so if you're interested, I have life path number tarot that I do every week for your individual life path, and it's going to be at the end here along with my new David and Jane channel, where we are authors, writers, we're having fun with it. Also Veilspeak, Soul Awareness, you name it. I have a million channels. Go check them out. They're all here or in the description box. And over here's another video if you're interested. Make sure to come back tomorrow for the live, where I'm going to do another reading here live. You can talk to me while I'm doing it. That's why I do it that way. Also, don't forget to check out your reading for September that's posted on Monday. That was yesterday. Go check that out if you didn't see that already. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you love, light, and blessings. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.